Hi everyone, Dr. Emmy from Pain Free and Fit. Today, a great video for those of you with lower back spondylolisthesis, how to choose the proper hip flexor stretch for your low back spondylolisthesis pain. So how do we know if tight hip flexor muscles are part of our spondylolisthesis pain? It all begins with a simple analysis on yourself. The hip flexor muscles, and there are multiple muscles in this group, run from the leg up into the pelvis and spine. These muscles become tight when we sit for long periods of time, sleep in a fetal position with our knees towards our chest, or have an anterior pelvic tilt posture where the pelvis is rotated forward and the pubic bone is lower than the tailbone. All of these conditions create an enhancement or increased arch in the lower back, which many times mechanically helps drive that spondylolisthetic vertebra more forward and aggravates our symptoms. When we have tight hip flexor muscles and the leg comes backwards behind us in what's known as hip extension, the muscles can't stretch. So what they do is they increase the pull of the pelvis more forward and increase that arch in the back. So learning if you do have tight hip flexor muscles and which ones are tight, you can better target your stretches to help reduce this pull and relieve your low back spondylolisthesis pain. So let's begin with a simple test for this. If you take your hand and place it in the small of your back in your arch, you're going to notice there's a certain amount of curve there. You're going to monitor that with your hand as you, on both sides, bring one leg straight back. Now normally, your thigh should be able to come back at least 20 degrees from a vertical line without noticing an increased arch in the back. If you begin to bring your leg back and you notice that arch starts to increase, that's a strong indication that you have tight hip flexor muscles. Now, learning which tight hip flexor muscle is more of a problem than others so you can better target your stretches comes from the next few tests. Let's get into them. So let's begin by lying face down. Again, we'll monitor the lower back arch with our hand in the small of our back, and as we bend one leg, pay attention to that arch. If you notice that the arch starts to increase, or your pelvis, you can put your hand on your pelvis. If your pelvis starts to tilt forward as your leg comes up, that's a strong indication that your rectus femoris muscle, which is one of your quad muscles in the front of your thigh, also a hip flexor, is tight. If as you bring your leg up, the pelvis on the same side that you're bending your leg lifts off and your whole pelvis turns to that side, that's a strong indication that your IT band, or tensor fasciae lata muscle that attaches to your IT band, is tight. That's another hip flexor muscle that has a separate stretch. If, as the leg is bent, and it remains bent to about 90 degrees, and you start to move your thigh outwards away from your other thigh, if that starts to increase the arch of your lower back, it's a strong indication that the front of one of your adductor muscles on the inside of your thigh is tight, and that hip flexor component may be irritating your spondylolisthesis pain. So regardless of the exact hip flexor muscle that we're stretching, let's keep in mind a few key components that are essential to hip flexor muscles. Many people make the mistake of not utilizing these, and as a result, they lose the efficiency of their hip flexor stretch, as well as they aggravate the lower back pain during hip flexor stretches. So those two components are maintaining a slight tail under or posterior pelvic tilt position, where you're going to rock your pelvis so that your tailbone tucks under and your pubic bone moves up. That's going to flatten slightly the arch of your lower back. In terms of how much tail tuck under, just use a comfortable amount. That's going to help lock your spine in a safe position so that as the leg goes backwards in any of these hip flexor muscles, we're not having the pelvis rock into an anterior tilt, and we're not increasing the arch in the back, aggravating our spondylolisthesis pain. The second tip to keep in mind is to use a contraction or a tightness of the buttock muscle while we're stretching the hip flexor muscle on that side. So if my left leg is moving back for tight hip flexor tightness on that side, we're going to be contracting the left buttock muscle on the same side. When we contract the buttock muscle, that helps to reflexively relax the hip flexors on that side and gets us a better stretch on them. So the first stretch is a general stretch, which can be applied to any of these muscles that we've found to be tight with our hip flexors. If I found hip flexor muscle tightness at any of the hip flexor muscles on my left side, I'm going to position that leg slightly back. Now remember, before you move the leg back, you have your tail under slightly, and you can contract the buttock as you're bringing your leg back. You're going to wiggle your foot backwards until you begin to feel a slight pull somewhere in the front of the groin, the front of the leg, front of the pelvis. We're going to maintain that position without moving it for at least 15 seconds, but we're going to hold it until that feeling of stretch dissipates. Once that stretch is resolved, we can then, maintaining the same tail under position so we don't arch our back, bring the leg back a little further by wiggling the leg back until we feel another stretch in that muscle. And we're going to do that 3 or 4 times or 3 or 4 levels to stretch all of those hip flexors on that side. Now, if we found during our testing that the rectus femoris muscle, that quad muscle, is tight, remember that's the one where as we bend the knee up, lying face down, the arch in the lower back starts to increase without the pelvis turning to either side or lifting on one side. We're going to use some stability and hold on to something with our other hand. Again, we're going to maintain that arch in the back, and as we keep the tail under, we're going to slowly bring our heel up towards our buttock as we bring our thigh back. So it's the combination, as opposed to just a general quad stretch where you're bringing your heel towards your buttock, you're moving the thigh backwards. And that's going to target, in all your quad muscles, it's going to target the rectus femoris, which is the hip flexor. Again, you'll use the same stretching protocol, maintaining the tail under, buttock tension, waiting at least 15 seconds. It may take up to a minute or slightly longer for that stretch in the front of the thigh or the groin to decrease or resolve. Once it does totally resolve, we're going to bring it back a little further till we feel it again. 2, 3, 4 levels of that stretch can be done. Now the next stretch targets our TFL and IT band. Remember, that's the hip flexor component that when it's tight and you raise your leg up and bend your knee in that face down test, the pelvis on that side came off the table, came off the exercise bench. Your whole pelvis rotated into that side. So with this stretch, we're going to again keep that tail under, buttock tension, but as that leg comes back, we're also going to move it across the midline. And as we do so, we'll feel that stretch target a little bit more towards the outside of the front of the hip. And that's your tensor fasciae lata muscle, and that stretch goes all the way down the side of the leg through the IT band to the knee. And sometimes you'll even feel that towards the calf and the ankle, because the fascial link between the peronei muscles and the IT band is very strongly tight in some people. You may get a sensation of stretch all the way down to your ankle. Again, we'll use the same protocol of maintaining buttock tension, tail under, 15-second minimum. Now conversely, if during the face down test, when the knee was bent to 90 degrees and you began to separate your thigh outwards away from your midline, if that increased the arch of your back or caused more anterior pelvic tilting, that indicates that the adductor muscles, which are on the inside of the thigh, the very front of those adductor muscles also assist in hip flexion, and that indicates that that area is tight. So for this specific stretch, we're going to use the same tail under and buttock tension, but as the leg comes backwards, we're now going to bring it further out away from the midline, further away from our other thigh, so that the leg is moving back and out to the side, maybe 30 or 45 degrees. And here what you'll feel is more of a stretch on the inside of the thigh and the groin. This targets the adductor group. Now, if the leg was simply out to the side straight, it's a pure adductor stretch. We don't want that. We want the combination of back and to the side, so we're emphasizing the anterior front aspect, the hip flexor component of those adductor muscles. Again, we're going to hold the tail under, buttock tension, 15-second minimum stretch time. So plug these spondylolisthesis specific stretches into your home stretching routine 2, 3, or 4 times a day. And typically after a few weeks, you'll notice that these tight hip flexor muscles start to loosen, and often your spondylolisthesis pain will diminish. Keep in mind that stretching is only one component of a good self-rehab program for spondylolisthesis. You need to understand what your muscle imbalances are, what your core stability issues are that are affecting your spine, what abnormal movements or postures are affecting pressure and stress on your spondylolisthesis pain. To do this, you'll need a fuller body analysis and more of a detailed corrective exercise program. That can be found in our fast-track spondylolisthesis program available at painfreeandfit.com. If you have any questions or comments about spondylolisthesis exercises or stretches, feel free to write in. I'll do my best to answer. Give me a thumbs up to share this valuable information with others. Subscribe to the channel. Got a lot of great videos out there for spondylolisthesis exercises. And I hope this tutorial on specific stretches for spondylolisthesis pain helps you with your chronic low back symptoms.